Alright, y'all, welcome to the All Sports Pass Podcast West. I'm your host, Eve, and tonight, final regular season week of the high school season. It is week 11. This is where we decide what the playoffs are going to be like. So let's get started. Of course, the All Sports Pass Podcast will be covering high school football once again for next year. So we're not done, and I'm definitely not done as I'm still in high school, and I got one more year left after this year. So without further ado, let's get started. Up first, we'll talk about South Doyle. Played Seymour last week. And unfortunately, a tough loss. That's the last thing I expected out of South Doyle season is to lose to Seymour 27-14. Well, of course, they were at home. They just didn't play their best. And unfortunately, they're not going to end the season on a good note, as they do have to play this Anderson County. While at home, Anderson County just won the region. This will be talked about in the North Channel. Check out their video. They're covering Anderson County and Dibs from last week. With that being said, though, Anderson County did just win the region. They look to be more talented. And with South Doyle's loss to Seymour last week, I have Anderson County winning this game. That is how South Doyle is going to end their season. Of course, after this week, I will not be covering South Doyle for the rest of the season. However, I will be covering them next year. Next, we'll talk about Hards. Of course, not the result they wanted in a huge district game. It is Clinton. Lost 17-15. However, there is some good news for Hards fans, because I did check the standings. Hards will make the playoffs. Even if they go 3-7, Hamilton County's winners in their district right now. If Hamilton County wins, they'll 1-3. Hards loses to Monroe City. They also go 1-3 in their district when they both have a 3-7 record. Hards still holds the advantage as they beat Hamilton County. So good news, Hards. You're making the playoffs, and you will be covered for another week. Of course, with traveling to Monroe City, it's not good with different Hards, but Hards mainly has to focus on the playoffs now. They're in, so they gotta focus on trying to upset the number 1 seed. I don't know who that is. I don't cover any Region 4 teams. But I do gotta say, Monroe City has more of the talented team. They did just face Oak Ridge for a district title. They did lose, but they're looking to try and finish the season with a win. So I got Monroe City winning this game. Up next, we'll talk about Bearden. Last week, playing Morristown West. While they did win the game, they won 20-17, sent them into overtime. Now I'm feeling a bit skeptical of what Bearden can do. However, here's my reaction. Defense might have played their best in a long time. That was the best defense I've seen. But the offense, not so well. Doing quite the opposite. They didn't do that well in their game against Mo West. That's why it was sent to overtime. However, with their next game being at home and senior night, which means their amazing class of 25, but a lot of legends on the team like Drew Parrott and all those good players, there's going to be their last regular season home game of their career. And coming in is Bradley Central, who, by the way, is not going to make the playoffs this year after a huge semifinals win last year. So, very disappointed for Bradley. And looking at for Bearden, because, Bradley Central is not as talented as Bearden is currently right now. But you'll never know what will happen. It's high school football. Like I said, Bradley was going to beat Faraday before. Faraday won. So, who knows? But I have Bearden winning this game. I think with the senior night, they're going to look forward to have a senior performance and invite more of the talented team. So I have Bearden winning this game. Up next, we'll talk about last week's game of the week, Battle of Pistol Creek, Maryville and Alcoa. This lived up to its expectations of game of the week. However, it's strange. Maryville did not win this game. Alcoa did. This is Maryville's undefeated streak, since they were 8-0 before this. And end their home stuff with a loss. Weird. But this proves a lot of things now. Alcoa is the best team in the Knox County area. Well, not Knox County, in the Knoxville area. Because of the fact Ravenwood, as I never usually cover Nashville stuff, Ravenwood beat Oakland in overtime. So, sprays a lot how Ravenwood beat Alcoa, and I don't know how Alcoa would be Maryville, but yes, it proves Alcoa is currently the best team in Knoxville. And we're going to talk about Maryville in just a bit, but first we're going to talk about another game. Next, we'll talk about Faraday and Hornet Valley's game. Of course, this is good news for Faraday fans. They win this game. Of course, the final score was 34-21. Maryville and Alcoa ended 24-17. But this means one thing for Faraday. They clinched playoff berth, and they get to be covered on the West Channel for another week. However, they're going to have to travel to the Tri-Cities. So we'll see how that goes for Faraday. As for Hornet Valley, of course, they're eliminated from the playoffs. And this week will be the last week I'm covering them for this season, but they will be back next year. Now back to Maryville. Of course, this was actually going to be the game of the week, but playoff implications changed it a bit. And not to mention, this game was going to be on Lively Thursday, but they changed it to the North Channel's game of the week, Dibbs versus Fulton. So Maryville and Faraday is no longer game of the week. Now I'm just covering it. And as expected, Maryville's the more talented team. Of course, Faraday's only home wins is Hornet Valley. So I gotta say Maryville wins here. Of course, these are just my predictions. You'll never know what will happen. Faraday would pull something they did last year and upset Maryville for some reason. But who knows if that's going to happen. As for Hornet Valley, they end the season at home against Cleveland. Now, of course, as I said about Maryville Faraday, you'll never know what will happen. Hornet Valley may win this game. Hornet Valley may beat Cleveland. But I see Cleveland as the more talented team and all that stuff. So I have Cleveland winning this game, despite the fact they have to travel so far out to Hornet Valley. Finally, we're talk about William Blount. Last week, they took a tough loss to Soddy Daisy, 17-14. I don't think that game really mattered, though. It was a non-region name. And William Blount just has to focus on the West Channel's Game of the Week. Yep, that's right. The new Game of the Week is Jefferson County versus William Blount. This is a matchup that will decide who plays Bearden. Of course, that will be the winner of this game. Unfortunately for the Bearden fans, I think Jefferson County is the more talented team. Sir William Blount played well the entire season, despite the fact they're 4-5 under 500 right now. But Jefferson County has they don't have the home field advantage, but they have the talent advantage. While they are not as good as they were last year, they still look to win this game, and I think they will. Of course, this will send William Blount to play Maryville if they lose, but if they win, they get to travel to Bearden. And I was going to drop William Blount for covering them next year. I was not going to cover them next year. But the new announcement, I will be expanding to 10 teams. As I was going to add Oak Ridge because of the fact they're moving up to 6A. But now I'm going to move up to 10 teams with the addition of Alcoa, who's moving up to 4A. So Oak Ridge and Alcoa will start being covered on the West Channel, and William Blount will stay. And like that, I'm not going to be dropping any teams. I will not be not covering a team that I'm covering this year and next year. So South Doyle stays, West stays, Bearden has to stay. I go to their school. I'm not dropping anyone. I'm going to keep covering who I'm covering and add 2 new schools being Oak Ridge and Alcoa. So yep, this is the All Sports Pass Podcast West. Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to subscribe to the North Channel as it will help us out. Your host Eve signing out.